a handful, has to be said, although they did find it a superb fighting platform.
The main feature of the Camel was the weight of the first 7 feet of the aircraft. When the engine, the fuel, the guns, the armament, the weapon ammunition and the pilot all in the first 7 feet. So its capacity to turn on the sixpence was a really useful attribute. The problem was it created a problem as on a conversion, aircraft conversion. It's one of the features of the First World War to bear in mind that something like half of the Royal Flying Corps casualties were actually incurred in training, about 8,000 out of the 16,000. So flying training was a much more hit and miss affair in those days, and young pilots had to work extremely hard to become proficient. The third aircraft that's joined it is effectively the Spitfire of the First World War. It's the SE5a. And what a sight. You will not see the aircraft in
replacement engine fitted in 1975, 200 horsepower Rolls-Royce
The SE5a is interesting. It was a design from the Royal Aircraft Factory. It evolved from the SE2 and then the SE4, both of which were speed machines. They were built to go quickly. The SE5 was built not only to go quickly, but up at 38 miles an hour, but also to go.
Backup service was often very, very short-lived. New aircraft came online.
SE5Es, they were named after Eberhard, which was the factory that produced them. They're still in existence. There are a number of replicas, and I believe earlier there was mention made of the vintage aviator out in New Zealand. Peter Jackson is a very big fan of vintage aviation and set himself to build his own aircraft, Air Force rather, some 39 aircraft. And included in that, Mick Mannock, who was one of the leading patrol leaders, himself another VC, was also a big advocate of the SE5a. And an 84 Squadron, a gentleman called Beecham Proctor, a very tiny diminutive South African, was very successful flying the SE5a, along with the Canadian McLaren, was also a high-scoring ace. It wasn't until the late 1920s that any form of standardisation of ergonomics actually started, of Albert Ball's influence on the final design. So the gun could be pointed upwards. Very nice landing there. You'll notice as the SE5 taxis in that the main wheels are tied together, they cannot spread apart, which later suspension systems allow for, and that made a good landing such as you've just seen very difficult. So that was a very nice landing.
Don't forget to keep yourselves hydrated through the afternoon in the sunshine. If you would like to take advantage of the free water on site, there is free water. A couple of trainers have taken off to go off into the holding pattern. the Hamilton Tiger Moth, the venerable Tiger Moth, and first into the skies, the Avro Shooter.